Okay, so a common mistake. Here's a common mistake. People like to say, oh, let me bring this down, power rule, pi times x e to the x minus 1. Wrong. Don't do that. We're not doing power rule. Okay? We're not doing power rule. You have to follow the rules of the function e to the x. This is an exponential function. Pi is a constant, right? It's like the number 3. It's like the number 4. Every time we take the derivative, what do? Bring it down. Another common mistake people do is, oh, product rule. Should I do product rule with just pi? No, there's no x over there. Okay? So don't do product rule. We just bring that pi down and we follow this e to the u. So y prime, bring the pi down. What's the derivative of e to the u? Good. So e to the x times the derivative of x, which is just 1. So if I rewrite it, it's just the same thing, pi e to the x. So in general, if you have a constant in front of the function e to the x, and the derivative of e to the x is just e to the x, you can get the same thing. You'll get the same thing. You bring that constant down. Okay? Let's look at example 2. Here's another mistake people make. Ooh, product rule. Should I use product rule there? No, because I don't have an x, and you can't split up a natural log of something, right? So again, I would bring down the negative 4, and this is the natural log of u. What is the derivative of natural log of u? 1 over, leave the inside alone, times the derivative of the inside, which is 8. Now we clean it up. 8's cancel out. Oops, y prime equals negative 4 over x. Okay, so we identified this as y equals a to the u. So the derivative of a to the u is a to the u natural log of a times the derivative of the inside du dx, right? So y prime equals 4 to the negative x plus 1 natural log of 4 times negative 1. Now, can I put anything together here? You can actually, this is really just a negative, right? So I can actually move this negative to the front. Okay? It's just a negative. So I'm just multiplying by negative 1, right? If it were negative 2, could I make that negative 8? No. We're just moving a negative to the front of the expression. So negative 4, negative x plus 1, natural log of 4. In fact, some people might write it as negative natural log of 4 because that's actually a number times 4 to the negative x plus 1. Both of those are acceptable. Okay? Example 4. How did you identify, though, that you were supposed to use product rule? What made you say, oh, product rule? Okay, you have more than one x, and I can split it somewhere where the function has a multiplication operation in there, right? This is e to the 2x times cosine of 3x, so I can split it right there, and I use the product rule. So this is u, this is v. Go ahead and try it. See if you can get it. Let's go. So product rule, y prime, the first, e to the 2x, times the derivative of the second. Derivative of cosine 3x, negative sign, leave the inside alone, times the derivative of the inside, which is 3. Plus, so we really did chain rule and product rule here. Keep going. Plus the second cosine 3x times the derivative of the first. All right, this is new. E to the 2x times 2. Very good. Okay, let's clean this up for our final answer. Y prime. What goes in front in this term right here? The negative. The 3 goes in front. E to the 2x. Good. Sine 3x. Good. What about this next term? So plus 2, good, cosine of 3x. That's your final answer. Good. So I would rewrite it. I'm not taking the derivative. I'm just rewriting it. So I don't have to use the quotient rule anymore. I do times what? X to the negative 1. And then I end up using product rule. Here's my u, here's my v. Go ahead and try it. Okay, let's deal with this term first. Okay, well, we could do e to the negative x, put this negative in front, and x to the negative 2, we can move that down to x squared. Okay? Plus, let's do this one. This negative could go in front, right? Negative e to the negative x. This x goes in the denominator, right? Now, if I wanted to combine these two fractions, what could I do? Get a common denominator. How do I get a common denominator? This second fraction needs to be multiplied by what? Over x. Good. X over x. We're multiplying by the number 1, so it doesn't change the value of it. So then we get negative e to the negative x minus e to the negative x. But there's an x in there. Minus x e to the negative x all over x squared. Your answer may look like that. Or, what do you notice about the numerator? Look at this term and look at this term. Can you factor out something? A negative and an e to the negative x. So we can factor out a negative e to the negative x. What am I left with on this term? 1. We factored out a minus sign, so plus x. And in the denominator I have still x squared. Your answer could look like that. Or we have a negative exponent right here. Where can this go? It can go to the bottom. So another answer might look like this. The negative can stay on top, 1 plus x over e to the x, x squared. Your answer could look like that. Or they could multiply in that negative, and we could get negative 1 minus x over e to the x, x squared. All of these are forms of that same answer. On an AP test, you might do the problem and get this answer up here, but you need to be able to get to whatever possible form the AP test gives you. Okay?